Hello everyone, I'm Mike Feltenberger. Going to do a May 7th recap of the racing action at Shellhammer Dirt Track. First up, I'd like to send our kudos to Dave Courtier, Willie, and the track crew for prepping a track that was 2 inches underwater 20 hours before race time. Dave and crew did a fantastic job, whipped up an incredible track, some 2-3 wide racing for pretty much of the night. A great racing event, even though the track was underwater only 20 hours earlier. First up, the junior sprints. It was a leader flip a coin night between Enzo Udicello and Braylon Morris. They swapped the lead 3 times in 8 laps in the middle of their 20-lap A-main, but Braylon Morris came out on top in his 15X with Udicello right behind in car number 1. Enzo was the winner of the first 2 junior sprint features we had this year, settling for second in his 3rd try. Andrew Ferriola finishing 3rd in the 26, with Logan Shabilia getting 4th in the 45, and your 5th place finisher in the junior sprint car A-main was Barrett Bressler. Barrett started dead last on the field, working his way up to a 5th place finish. Junior slingshots, nice field of 11 cars. They had a 20-lap A-main, and going the distance from green to checker was Barry Seaman in the 55B. The junior slingshots had a rash of cautions at the beginning of the race, but once racing got underway, it was some pretty good racing, and everybody made it through without going off on a hook. A good night for the junior slingshots. Barry getting the win over Haley Bernatowski. Haley and Miles Zenner were early challengers to Barry to take the win in the junior slingshot main, but just didn't have enough to get by. Could get close, but couldn't pass, with Barry winning, Haley getting second. Gavin Wolf, great run from the 9th starting spot to get 3rd in the 23G. Good run for Gavin. Starting dead last, Aubrey Romig in the 35A. She was an innocent victim of 2 earlier incidents, putting her to the rear of the field. She worked her way back up and got a 4th place finish, with Cheyenne Snotterly in the 5S notching the 5th place payout. Fantastic running for the junior slingshots, and a great win for Barry Seaman, who had some bad luck last week. Had to pull off after 1 lap and 4 laps after running second. 125 micros. Sam Borger's 04 dominated that racing action, with Steve Siemens getting his 2nd win of the season. Strong run for Seth Gregory. Seth did not come out for his for his qualifying event. Was relegated to start in the back of the 125 A main. Worked his way up. There was no cautions in this race, so they ran off 20 laps in 3 minutes and 13 seconds, with Steve Simmons getting the win. Seth Gregory getting 2nd. Strong run for Seth. Like I said, starting in the rear after not coming out for his qualifying event. Dylan Yankston in the 112 soldiered through the pack for a late race charge to get 3rd. Jesse Maurer in the 82. Nice to see the Maurers back here at Shellhammer Dirt Track, getting 4th. And your 5th place finisher was Mitch Gibson in the 15. So that took care of the 125 micros. The night was moving rather quickly. Started our A-mains early, got over rather early. Next up were the All-Star Slingshots. 20 All-Star Slingshots signing in for the racing action at Shellhammer Dirt Track for Wingless Wednesday of May the 7th. And finally, after losing the feature last week on the last lap with a great low-side pass of her, Haley Ero notches her first All-Star Wingless Wednesday win in the 57. Great run for Haley. And Brett Bieber had a last lap challenge again, just missing out on getting the win, getting the Tess Horvath 42H in for 2nd. Luke McCloskey ran a fantastic race, was in the top 5 all night, and when the checkers threw after 25 laps, Luke had his car number 1 in for the last podium spot of 3rd. Fantastic run for Luke McCloskey. Darian Daniluk starting to shake some early season issues, getting the 4th spot in the 72D, with Lindsey Garl, a 17L, rounding out your top 5. Strong run by Dan Lane Jr. Started 14th, worked his way up into the 6th finishing spot aboard the Thunberg-owned 12 Senior. Next up, 600 micros. 23 600 micros signing in for the racing action at Shellhammer Dirt Track. And some fantastic racing it was. Again, a lot of little mini accidents, spin outs, minor spin outs. And it's getting to the point where we got to be focused. I mean, every other class is only running with maybe 1 or 2 cautions, and the cautions are mounting up for the 600 micros. Hope things change. But some fantastic racing when the green was out, and taking the win, going wire to wire in the 99, Briggs Danner. Fantastic run for Briggs, getting his first win here in the 2025 season. Luke Hess in the 2L was battling Adam Bushell, who actually passed Luke with 4 laps to go, but Luke regained the 2nd spot, getting the second spot over Adam Bushell in the 10. Early season feature winner, with Bushell getting 3rd. Matt McAnally stayed strong the whole night, running within the top 5 to get a 4th spot in the 37. And rounding out your top 5 was car number 5, Trevor Kobolars. Trevor just seems to be there when the checker's thrown. This time he was 5th after 25 laps. He was 2nd last week, so his string of top 5 finishes is intact. Dan Lane Jr. starting 13th, got his way up to 6th. And Jacob Homnick looking pretty strong in the 12H for a 7th place finish. Eddie Mort getting his car ready. He didn't know if he was going to be able to make it, but Eddie Mort had the 41 in tune ready to go and finished 8th in the 600 A main of 25 laps. Congrats to Briggs Danner on his win. Stage 1 modifieds. Had a couple of tangles along the way. But after everything was done for the 20 laps, taking the win was Johnny Fugello in the 5-teen, 2nd feature win of the year. Good strong run for Johnny. Dylan Hoke in the 35, rebounded from a lap 18 accident, to come from the rear back up to the 2nd spot. AJ Gerhardt, your 2024 Stage 1 point champion, putting S1 under the checker in 3rd place. With Brett Smith, last week's winner, also going to the rear of the field. A little tangle there with Dylan Hoke, also involving a couple other cars. But he rebounds for a 4th place finish and getting 5th, 93, Chad Riddle. Chad signed in last week but didn't get his car on the speedway at all. Here he has a 5th place finish after 20 laps in the Stage 1 modified. So the win going to Johnny Fugello, with Dylan Hoke 2nd and AJ Gerhardt 3rd. Final A main of the night, 20 laps for the 270 micros. Another stellar field of 18 270s signing in the Shellhammer Dirt Track for a night of racing. And taking the win in the 53, Dylan Caronia. Dylan's been strong since he's made his appearance at Shellhammer's, notching the win last night with a strong run by Chris Dolan in the 16X. Dolan getting a 2nd spot. It's a fantastic run. He was basically a middle of the top 5 runner, running 3rd for most of the race. Late race pass of Michael Peacock in the 61 notched Dolan the 2nd place spot, with Peacock in the 61 getting 3rd. Your 4th place runner was the 04 Jarrett Imler. These guys were really struggling, and some fantastic racing. We only had 1 caution in the 270 micro main, and that was late in the race. It ended up being a single file restart. So after 18 laps, I believe it was, and fantastic racing there. Getting 3rd was Michael Peacock. Your 4th place finisher, Jarrett Imler, and in the 5th spot, Adam Bushell. Adam seems to find different grooves around the racetrack, and he works his way through the field. There's times you see the 10 car riding the bottom, and then all of a sudden he'll switch grooves and go to the top side, and had the top side working last night, coming from the 7th starting spot to get 5th. So that's based, and Matt McAnally was 6th, with the 82 of John Maurer 7th, and rounding out your top 8, the 24 last week's winner, Dustin Roberts. So that rounds out your evening of racing at Shellhammer's. Last night, voucher sponsors were Rick's Printing, Jen Feltenberger, Tom Heister, H.O. Raceway and Slot Car Parts, and also Sills Family Campground. So I'd like to thank them for the sponsorship last night. And we will see everybody again next week at the little track by the river, Shellhammer Dirt Track, located right off of Route 61, just north of Leesport, Pennsylvania. Have a great day and see you at the Speedway.